Well, we just showed you how your kids can dress to impress in their back-to-school clothes. Now we want to help you help them with good manners. Etiquette expert Mrs. Hancock is here to show us some great ideas and great tips to get your child off to an A+ start. It is so good to see you.
Well, thank you. Very nice to be here, Susan.
And a lot of this week, we're meeting the teacher, having Meet the Teacher night, and students sometimes are coming in contact with that person of authority for the first time. What is the appropriate way a child should greet his teacher and principal?
I think first thing in the morning we say, good morning, Mrs. Williams, good morning, Mr. Williams, whichever the case may be. How are you today? It's nice to see you. Children can do this. They can step up, they can put their hand out, shake, nice smile, make eye contact. Very important for building that relationship with your new teacher.
Yeah, and building confidence as well. Because if you have a personal relationship and your teacher can say your name back, well, that'll bolster your confidence.
It really does, and it gets, you know, it proves that the child is engaged and is excited, and I think it's really, really good manners to say good morning.
And you talk about being helpful and being a role model. How can a student do that, especially a younger student?
I just love it when I see a 10-year-old picking up a 6-year-old to the water fountain, or if there's a child in the hallway that's not quite sure where they're supposed to be, and someone else notices that they're a little lost. What are you looking for? How can I help you? You know, paying attention and keeping in mind that you're a role model for those younger kids.
And it's funny because students will mimic what they see. You know, and if someone helped them in the kindergarten or first grade, perhaps when they're 5th grade, they'll do the same.
Right.
And we also talked about the importance of not allowing a student to feel alone or isolated. How can another child kind of be a buddy?
I think it's so great if you see another child that's alone in the cafeteria or is eating lunch by himself or herself, go over and say, why don't you join us? Or, may I sit with you today and eat lunch with you? And you can talk about your dogs or your cats or, you know, the new game that you got for your Xbox, whatever the case may be. You know, that relationship that you might start in 3rd grade might be one that you'll have for the next 35 or 40 years.
Absolutely.
So, you know, take care of one another and spend time getting to know new kids.
And one of the biggest fears is when you're a new kid on a campus, you don't know anyone. How important is it to reach out and kind of offer an olive branch to a child?
I think we should always teach our children to be inclusive and to bring new people in to our relationships. Bringing them in really makes them happy. It's so good for their self-esteem, and it's a really nice thing to do.
Absolutely.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. You've made a new friend.
You have.
I remember when I first got to school, I made my very best friend because she had the time for me. You
That's
know,
right.
She made the time
She
for me.
reached out to you.
She reached out and made that personal connection.
It helps.
And we teach our kids, keep our hands to ourselves. You know, over the summer you may not have had to share, but how important is that?
Hands are for helping, not hurting, right? The golden rule rules. So we want to teach our kids to be nice to one another, kind to one another, have fun. We're in school now, so you know we can't be disruptive. We need to raise our hand and work together in that community. That's like their little city. Their school's like their little community. So
we have to be sure that we are doing what we see and what we have to make sure at home we're doing this as well, because in the summer we get a little lax in how we deal with our students.
We're using our outside voice inside because it's summer, but now we need to be a little more regimented, a little more disciplined, and that includes our manners and taking care of other kids and being kind.
And it won't happen overnight, so give it a couple of weeks.
Give it a few
give it a few weeks. Don't despair, parents. Well, these are great tips, and Mrs. Hancock has been so kind to put all of this information. We have more useful tools for you on SonoraLiving.com.